Most contractors think their business is open 9 to 5, but if you actually do the math on the hours in a week, a 9 to 5 schedule means you're only open about 25% of the week. That means that for the rest 73% of the time, so evenings, weekends, your business is dark. And here's the problem. The plumbing doesn't break at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, it breaks at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. Today I'm going to show you the math behind the dark hours. We're going to calculate exactly how much money you're losing to voicemail. So let's look at the numbers. All right, so let's establish that for many businesses, the way that it looks for them right now is that they're available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And of course, this is just a generalization. Many businesses have many different schedules. But for the sake of the argument, let's say that for this business, we're working from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's roughly 45 hours per week. And for the rest of the week, we basically are dark, perhaps capturing a few calls if we see the phone ringing. But for the main part, it's 123 hours per week in the dark. That means that for 73% of the week, we're basically out of business. Now, why these are actually the most valuable hours? Of course, when we know that for any after-hour calls that we get, we are going to charge premium pricing for those. So it's in our best interest as a home service business to be capturing those calls. So, for example, anything when it comes to emergency services can range between 800 to 1,500 versus a daytime that can look more around 300. So we can see that a lot of money is in the after-hour emergency calls. Now, a lot of the companies also are sleeping on these calls, meaning that many small businesses will probably not be as available as they are during the day. So probably you have less competition during those after hours. And when someone is calling during the after hours, it really means that they are in need for something urgent or something that is immediate. And the close rate tends to be a lot higher. So as I said, this is definitely in our best interest to be capturing those calls and be working with people in after hours. Now, what's likely happening right now for most businesses is the customer has an emergency. They call a number. It hits voicemail, and voicemail basically says, hey, we will call you back tomorrow once we're back. And basically what happens is that they will scroll through Google Maps and call the next competitor, so on and so forth. And you do not want to be captured in a voicemail. So this is happening for most businesses, and this is where they are basically losing their customers in the voicemail. And if we look at the math and how that could look like, so if let's say we have 25 calls per week in after hours that we're getting, let's say that 80% of those are going to be unanswered. So that means that from 25, we can say that 20 calls are going unanswered, maybe 5 we do answer. And of those 20 calls that we have not answered, 75% are going to hire a competitor because they need someone urgently and they need someone to do the job now. And if we do the math and say that on average a job is worth $800, well, what we are seeing is that for those 20 jobs, that's going to amount to $12,000 lost per week, which per month is going to amount to almost $50,000, and per year, almost $500,000. Of course, these are just generalized numbers, but if we want to stay conservative, a ballpark that I give to customers is that per average, 150 to 300K is what is being lost in after hours calls. Now, why would AI be better than, for example, an answering service that can cost you around $500 to $1,000 a month? Is that an AI agent is really good at doing what you're going to tell it to do. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be trained on the data that you have. It's going to put data into your CRM in a way that you train it. So it's going to be consistent, logical, and it can even do and book appointments. Whereas a answering service is, of course, handled by humans. It's likely not going to be consistent just because you need to train the answering service to be, on par with your services. and be able to consistently log everything into your CRM in a way that is consistent and scalable. And in this case, AI really excels at handling cases that are predefined and properly documented. And now let's say that we use AI and we're flipping the script and we are answering those calls. So if we get the same 25 calls, let's say that from those 25, 18 people are actually qualified. And of those 18 people that are qualified, we get 12 that actually book a job, because perhaps the rest are just looking for information, or they just called to get a quick information out of it. And we can see that if we average again $800 per job, we get around $9,000 per week. And per month, that averages at $38,000, which in turn per year can get us to $450,000 per year. Again, these are rough numbers, but just to give you an idea of what these AI systems can really recover for a home service business. Now, let's say that if you want to take into consideration how much the cost of the credits are, because I generally like to say that for any AI system that we install, the cost per minute tends to be at around 15 to 20 cents per minute. So if we take that, on average per year, a business is going to pay in between $5,000 to $10,000 in credits. So in this case, we can put it at a ballpark of $7,500. And if we go and do the ROI on that $7,600, then we can see that it's a 60x ROI on those calls that we are capturing in after hours. Now, to drive this point home, the three takeaways is that 73% of your week is going to be dark if you don't have anything in place to capture those after-hour calls in a way that is efficient and scalable. And you know that those after-hour calls are generally your most important calls because you charge premium pricing for those, and those are people that are likely going to be very urgently needing your services. It's not perhaps someone that is browsing during the day and just looking through different options and just calling you. These are actual people that are looking for your solutions. And while you might go for an answering service that allows you to say, we'll get back to you the next day, that may not be the most efficient way to handle your incoming calls, especially in 2026, when a lot of people are now exploring the idea of AI voice agents. Now, that said, I know that this can be a bit of a new topic for many people. So if you are looking or you are thinking to take AI into consideration for your business, or you want to take the next step into AI, then I do offer free consultation slots, which you can find in the description. So I'll be waiting you there. And if you want to see how we built a membership reactivation system for an HVAC business to reactivate their old customers, then I do invite you to watch this video right here. See you there.